It's time to get your champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. Now, can you dig that?
Boom! Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Fame. I got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, as always. And I want to thank all you guys, all you guys, the people, for stepping inside the Hall of Fame, getting your champagne wishes, caviar dreams, man. But we coming off a big weekend, and the thing is, we heading into another big weekend, and the thing is, the beat don't stop. The beat. You ever heard that song before? The beat don't stop.
Of course, I've heard it, but you know
that's the way it is right now. How you feel, man?
Well, I'm feeling good, and to me, though, yes, we're coming off of an extravaganza UFC 305. We were on ESPN National Radio. I want to give a big shout out to your ESPN people, of course.
Yeah.
For making it happen. What up, Stosh? Got to give a big shout out to Stosh. We love
That's
Stosh. But no, then we're moving on into, like you said, breakout this weekend.
Don't forget about Jovan. Don't forget about Jovan.
Yeah, Jovan, Josiah, Liam, the whole team.
The people.
The whole team over there, man.
Yeah.
The whole team over there. But Justin as well. But we're moving into Reality Wrestling Breakout, where we're going to have some NXT stars on there.
Yeah.
And what you said, the beat goes on. To me, I also think of there's a mega famous Macho Man promo where he says that, but the beat goes on.
Yeah.
The beat goes on.
Now I'm excited. Actually, Kel Dixon is going to be making his first time appearance at the Walker Texas Lawyer Arena. And the thing about Kel is he's one of those athletes. He's one of those NIL guys. And this is his first time outside the combine. It's the first time outside the PC, first match ever, somewhere else. So I'm glad I'm going to get my hands on him. I'm going to get my hands on this kid, because one thing about Kel Dixon, I don't know if you guys have seen him or not. He was, on The Bachelor, he's played a little football, rugby, or whatnot. You know what I mean? He's a bona fide athlete, but he's a good looking kid. All right. He checks off all those boxes I'm always talking about, as far as, perhaps passing the airport test. And if you could do that, you might have a chance at making it to the next level. But like Brian Keith talk about, you got to have your tool bag. You got to be able to, go to your weapon of choice. And that's what I want to get my hands on Kel Dixon for, because once he get back to NXT after experiencing reality of wrestling, he's going to be unstoppable. He's going to be a monster, baby, like Akeem Olajuwon back in the day. Unbeatable. Oh, yes, man. So I can't wait to get my hands on Kel Dixon, as well as Tatum Paxley. She's going to be making her debut at Reality of Wrestling. And it's going to be for high stakes, because I got a phone call today. And the phone call was like, hey, Book, I heard Tatum Paxley is coming to Reality of Wrestling. I say, oh, yeah, she's coming to Reality of Wrestling. She said, well, I want a piece of that ass. And I said, whoa, what you talking about, Gigi Ray? And so Gigi Ray say, look, I'm stepping up. I want the shot. So I said, look here. I'm gonna talk to Abel and see if we can get this done. Gigi Ray versus Tatum Paxley in the main event.
Big news.
Huh?
Big news. Reality wrestling breakout. We have to get that, like you said, we have to get it sanctioned by Andrew Jackson, our executive manager.
Wait a minute. Who does Abel work for?
I feel like if he's the executive manager, he makes the executive decisions.
Yeah, but he's still got a boss, right? He's still got a board.
He's got a board that he answers to. Yes,
exactly that point. And who do you think?
Who's on the board?
I am the board.
You can't be the whole board. I know you're on the board. Charmel's on the board.
No,
Kevin on the board.
Charmel's,
Am I on the board?
No, you're not on the board. You're not on the board. I'm the only one that's on the board. Make those major decisions like that. But no, Tatum Paxley, Gigi Ray, if you guys want to see it, you better go and get a ticket. They're cheap. We making sure everybody can get in the building. It's on Sunday, bell time, 5 p.m. That's going to be at the Walker, Texas Lawyer Arena, 9300 Emmett F. Lowry. You'll see the big LED sign outside. That's what, you ain't got to worry about. It's like a beacon in the sky. You're like a alien, a Martian or something. You go, what is that? Get up in there, y'all.
I even saw the lights of the Goodyear blimp, and it said Ice Cube's. Goodyear blimp.
Exactly my point. That's exactly what I was saying. No, you can't miss it.
You can't miss it. You can't miss it at all. So make sure you go out there and check that out. Tickets available at realitywrestling.com. Also, September the 14th, Reality Wrestling Gold Rush. Big announcements coming out about that card. Who's gonna step up to take on Zilla Fatu? Who's gonna step up to take on Rochelle Chanel, number 5? Yeah. Who's gonna step up this Sunday to take on Clay Roberts? Open challenge for the Reality Wrestling Television Championship.
I don't want to stir anything up for that show. That's on the 14th, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on the 14th. I don't want to stir anything up, so I don't even want to say his name right now. We're going to save that.
Oh, okay. We'll save it. We don't know what's happening, but we'll save it. We don't want to say nothing. We don't want to say nothing. We want to know nothing.
Please don't say nothing.
I won't say it.
Don't say anything.
I won't do it.
Just zip it. Zip it, man.
I'll zip it.
Coming off a big weekend, guys. UFC 305, Duplessis versus Israel Adesanya for the middleweight championship. And man, Rocky Roads. Let's just say that roller coaster, baby, roller coaster. It's like going to the state fair. You see the guys jump on the bulls, right? And bang, they're just trying their best to hang on. Bang. That's what it's like, man. It's like, the energy, that was in the building for that fight versus Duplessis. For me, it was palpable. But I still think I didn't call that fight, right?
Well, I mean, you were leaning to Izzy, but you said you don't know what.
No. I was leaning Duplessis. Wait a minute. I was leaning Izzy as the fight was going on.
Right. That's what we're talking about.
No. I'm just saying I didn't call that fight as far as I did, but I was saying as far as Duplessis, I was saying this guy was like Volkanovski. He's a guy that's a dog. I said you're gonna have to beat it out of him. He's not a guy that's just gonna quit or anything like that. As well as I talked about his record, I said this guy's undefeated. That cloak of invincibility is something that's really hard to, you got to take it away from him. As well as Izzy fighting behind the black line. I said it wasn't going to be able to do that. And he actually didn't do that until he got caught. It was amazing. One thing about the wrestling game, the jiu-jitsu game, it trumps everything. You could be looking great, a la Anderson Silva and who was that? Chael Sonnen.
And Chael Sonnen, yes.
You feel me? You know what I mean? So it trumps everything. You could look great, and then all of a sudden, that greatness just doesn't amount to anything at the end of the night. And I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's that greatness didn't amount to anything. I think it's look, if you go back and look at that fight, after round number 1, it was pretty clear. Round numbers 2, 3, and the majority of round number 4, Israel Adesanya was in the driver's seat. We saw Duplessis having labored breathing. He was just kind of lofting punches out there, hoping they connected. And that ended up actually being the downfall of Israel because Izzy got a little too confident in the pocket. He wasn't protecting himself as much as he should have. And Duplessis was able to throw a hook that caught Izzy at the right moment, stunned him, and then next thing you know, Duplessis on his back, taps him out. I mean, to me, Izzy was winning if on the cards, which is they don't matter, throw him out. But on the cards, Izzy was winning the fight, right? I mean, he was winning at the fight, but he allowed himself to get caught. Now that's two things: one, he got too comfortable, but also two, the heart and the attrition of DDP to stay in that fight, stay in the pocket, and no, I'm not winning this fight so far. However, he had the heart of a champion. He showed that title win against, Sean Strickland wasn't just a fluke. He deserves to be the middleweight champion of the world. I personally would like to see them do it one more time, but I understand Izzy might have to get to the back of the line and see who comes up next.
Izzy definitely going to get. He's got to get in line.
Got to get in line.
I wouldn't say to the back of the line or anything like that, but he definitely has to get in line just because he lost straight up. I mean, it was no fluke or anything like that. Nobody got hurt. It wasn't a bad stoppage.
It wasn't a bad stoppage. Yeah.
So my thing is, no, that was fair and square, mano a mano. The African man went out there and beat the other African. That's all it was, man. Two brothers. Hey, we got to take a break, man. We got to take a break. Hey, guys, you inside the Hall of Fame, man. If you want to get super chats in, you better do it now. Do it quick. But we'll be back in a minute. Can you dig it, sucker? And this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about sex. Hey, you remember when you was always ready to go? I'm talking about strapping the rocket on it, man. Going straight to the moon. I'm talking about getting it done. If you want that extra confidence, I got something for you. Listen up. BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, but in a chewable tablet at the fraction of the cost.
But the great thing, Book, is you can take it any time, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days.
The best part, guys, it's all done online on the internet. So there's no doctor's visit, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at a pharmacy or any of that.
And the thing is, Book, Blue Chew's tablets, they're made right here in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package, so no one is the wiser.
Let's just get it out there, guys. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. It's like this. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew absolutely free when you use promo code Booker at your checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping, man. That's BlueChew.com. Use promo code Booker to receive your first month absolutely free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And, we want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Hall of Fame podcast. Chew it and do it. Oh, yes, man. We back inside the Hall of Fame just chopping up. Me and my man, Brad Gilmore. That's my main man. Hey, I know we probably got some super chatters out there, but we still got some 305 to talk about here. That's very, very important, especially the Rosenstruck. We'll get to that. But Izzy, what do you think? What do you think Izzy goes from here, man?
Well, I mean, you mentioned he's got to get in line, maybe not the back of the line, but he has to get in line. An interesting thing that did come up after this fight is a guy who we just saw at UFC 303, was it? Yuri Prochazka. He said he's interested in going down to 185
do what?
And to take on Izzy. He said he wants to take a shot at Izzy at 185. He said that fight intrigues him. Now, what's also interesting is that his most recent opponent, Alex Pereira,
Yeah.
says that he wants to go back down to 185 and take a shot at Duplessis.
Yeah. I mean, he might as well because he's going to be waiting, to get a good fight where he is right now. I mean, why not go back down and fight Duplessis? I think Pereira beats Duplessis. That's just me. Just because of the fight styles, it's a stand-up game. I don't think Alex going to get caught from in a wrestling perspective. And he might get knocked out, but I don't think he's going to get tapped out. Just because he's strong, man. He's big. He's a big guy. But I'd love to see that fight. Prohaska versus Izzy. That's a kickboxing match. That's a fight that Izzy has a chance to go out there and win, and perhaps get off that streak and get back in the game. It might be a good fight for him to take, actually. But does he want to do it now? That's the question, because one more loss for Izzy, man, his head gonna be all screwed up.
I never thought that when we talked about Israel Adesanya, he would have lost 3 of his last 4 fights, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like that's who he is. And you, correct me if I'm wrong, you give him partial credit for his win against Pereira, right? You say he definitely won the fight. However, it was kind of close, and Izzy kind of had a lucky shot. Is that what you say?
I feel like Izzy, what I call it, luck. That's I wouldn't use that term.
Okay.
But he did find Alex Pereira out of position and in position at the same time. if you know what I'm saying. Hands of Steel. What was his name? Who was he fighting? Can't remember. Can't think of this guy's name, man. I was just looking at some highlights just last week, and Hands of Steel. That was his nickname. Can't think of his first name, but he got caught with a body kick, bang, and he cringed so hard he was about to go down, and the guy ran in on him and he cracked him, bang, and knocked him out. And won the fight, and he went back, and he couldn't do nothing but grimace and pain still from that kick after he won the fight. Unbelievable. That's what I mean by Izzy. He just happened to throw that shot when Alex was actually moving in and caught him at the right place at the right time. It was a beautiful shot. But I really felt like at that moment, Alex Pereira was moving in for the kill, man. He was like a lion, man, on the hunt, getting ready to feast. And Izzy say, no, not tonight. It was like that meal that got away. You know what I'm saying? But it was beautiful. No, it wasn't luck or anything like that. When you out there fighting, I would say some parts of the fight game might be luck, but you got to be a very, very skilled individual to step inside that octagon and fight at that level. So a lot of it, is instinct. A lot of it is skill, but it's got to be a little bit of luck involved too to land the perfect shot.
Right on the chin, man.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys like that analogy or not, but it was pretty damn good.
Give yourself a pat on the back, damn it. And I think, or you talk about Jeff Neal, Hands of Steel, Jeff Neal.
No.
He's a UFC welterweight.
No. He was in the Strike Force.
Scott Smith.
Okay. Yeah. I can remember the guy that he was fighting, but it was a great fight. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. Now, here's the other thing we should talk about real quick from UFC 305, and then there's a few other things we should definitely jump into. But what'd you think of Jairzinho Rosenstruck taking on Tai Tuivasa? And then we saw the judges' scorecards after, and one judge gave the fight unanimously to Tai Tuivasa, who I don't know. He definitely didn't win one round. And I don't know if Tai Tuivasa won 1 minute of that fight.
Well, one judge gave him all 3 rounds, but one judge gave him, said he won 1 round as well.
One round, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what that judge was thinking as well.
Because he didn't win a single round.
Well, I don't think you know what?
In my opinion.
He knows he didn't win a single round.
Yeah.
Rosenstruck know he didn't win a single round. And everybody in that arena knew that he did not win a single round. He got beat up. He got beat up to the point to where I thought he was going to quit. I thought he was going to get knocked out. He weathered the storm. But to hear the judge, call that number you go, wow. I know Dana White and the UFC, they reprimanded him and got him up out of the building for the night. He actually was supposed to have been judging the Cara France fight next, the co-main event. He was actually going to be judging that fight as well. I don't know if he judged any of the fights earlier. That might answer some questions too from some of those fights. So I tell you, man, somebody like that, you should put him in the category of what was that referee's name that was betting on the games?
Oh, you're talking about the NBA ref?
Yeah.
Oh crap! What was his name?
Yeah, exactly. That guy. And the thing is, guys like that, when they do stuff like that, they got
Tim Donaghy.
Tim Donaghy. You put him in that same class of the Tim Donaghys because they in it for a reason to do something like that. You got to have a reason to do something like that. And what is it? What is it? I don't know. I'm just speculating here right now. But to sway it that far, you got to have some kind of interest in that man winning that fight. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. But man, something smells like a rat. It looks like a rat. It's a rat.
Yeah, something's rotten in Denmark, and I agree. I think that, look, I won't go into too much detail, but I've seen it firsthand in the boxing game where the judges had an interest in the outcome of a fight, and it changed the outcome of the fight. And it happens more so in boxing, but we've seen it happen in the UFC as well.
Bro, look at some of these boxing matches that I've gone to, you could tell by the guy's shoes that he got on if he's going to lose.
I know what you mean by that.
And I'm not lying either.
It's not a joke.
No, it's not a joke. So it's real. It's real as it possibly can be. So no, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say 305 was a great fight card. We'll see what happens. The UFC Spheres coming up, some other big fights that I'm sure we'll be tapping into here over the next couple months. But one thing I feel like we definitely need to discuss, and it just seems that we have these conversations too frequently, is Alpha. I don't know why. Obviously legendary tag team with the Wild Samoans with his brother Sika, who just passed recently. And Alpha passed over the weekend. And of course, Hall of Famer, one of the great tag teams. The Wild Samoans were actually the ones who ended up losing to Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas, which started their historic run in WWF as far as trailblazers of a tag team. And then, of course, Alpha came back later and managed the Head Shrinkers and ran his own, I believe it was WXW, his own promotion.
Yeah.
I know a lot of talent came out of, including Chris Russo, who works with us at Reality Wrestling, came out of WXW as well. A legend, leader of the family in a lot of ways. And, rest in peace, obviously, to him. Book. I don't know. Did you get to run into Alpha a lot over the years?
Nah, man. Alphas and Sika, I didn't get a chance to run into those guys a whole lot other than at functions, Hall of Fames, stuff like that, big events. But in my in-ring time, I didn't run into those guys a whole lot, but I did respect them so much, what they did. Even, the Samoan SWAT team, had a little bit of piece of Alpha and Sika as well. They carried that mantle, but those guys did, like you say, trailblazers, man, trailblazers to this business. And like you say, we talk about this so much, man. It's heartfelt for me. Bobby Fulton right now, he's going through battling, cancer and stuff right now too. So, when you hear about this kind of stuff, it's sad. It's so freaking sad. And then to see those two brothers go within a couple of weeks of each other.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you that they were connected, man, all the way. I mean, the DNA was connected together for that to happen like that. That didn't happen by accident. You know what I mean? So God bless those guys, man. God bless them. Just thank God they got a legacy and so many more to live through. All the way down to Zillify to carry that mantle that they have put out there and preserve, for the next generation. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Godspeed and my condolences to the family.
Absolutely. But we do have to take a break here, BT.
Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey everybody, Brad Gilmore here with the one and only Booker T, and today we're not just talking about wrestling, we're talking about something that's changed the game for both of us personally, and that's Mando Whole Body Deodorant.
Yeah, that's right, Brad. You know, the most valuable thing in the world could be that #1 draft pick or home field advantage throughout the playoffs. But you know what's second? Time.
Absolutely, Book. And let me tell you, managing body odor, that used to eat up a lot of time. Always worrying about it, especially around midday, but not anymore since we started using Mando.
Yeah, but tell them why, Brad.
Well, Mando isn't like those other deodorants that just mask the odor with heavy fragrances. Mando stops odor at the source. It blocks bacteria on your skin from breaking down sweat, which, by the way, is what really causes that BO.
And it's clinically proven to control that odor for up to 72 hours. Now that's long-lasting, man.
It really frees up so much time since switching to Mando. I've even perfected my half-court shot, believe it or not.
Man, that's awesome. And let me add, I've been using Mando everywhere. Pits, grundles, and even those stinky crevices. We all got his aluminum-free, cruelty-free, dye-free, and vegan. Designed by a doctor who knew what was up about body odor, man.
And for our listeners, we got something special. New customers can get $5 off the Mando starter pack. That's over 40% off. Just use our code BOOKER at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com.
Use shopmando.com. Check out their starter pack. Brad and I would not steer you wrong.
With Mando, you're really taking care of your body odor anywhere and everywhere. Give it a try and let us know what you think.
All right, now back to wrestling. But remember, control your body odor anywhere, anytime with Mando, and save big with the promo code Booker at shopmando.com. Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. I was just looking at the Reality of Wrestling account, and them tickets are beginning to flow like hotcakes, man. And when I'm talking about hotcakes, I'm talking about Cracker Barrel hotcakes, man. I'm talking about a little crunch around the end, buttered down real good.
I feel you.
With that warm syrup. Oh my God, man. Oh yes. But I don't know, man. Do we need to talk any more UFC 305? Other than, like you said, the Spear, I want to be in there, man. I ain't calling nothing. Don't nobody call me. You know, I'm gonna be up in that mug. I want to see it up close and personal. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be something that, it's just going to be a delight if you're a combat sports fan. Probably first and only. I doubt they ever do this again. So if you're interested in it, go ahead and get it done, man. Get it done.
Do it, man. I got to do it.
But, Book, there's a few things that we're going to get into, obviously, today. The Super Chat's starting to flow, and I want to definitely take care of our Super Chatters all the time. But recently, Randy Orton sat down with Cody Rhodes, the WWE champion Cody Rhodes. Of course, Randy's a 14-time world champion. And they had a conversation. This is something that Cody's been doing on his tour bus. I don't know if you've seen any of these clips, but he's been interviewing some of the boys. And, they have these little chats. What do you want to talk about is what it's called. Okay. And Cody had one with Randy, and I was listening to it, and there was something that Randy said regarding John Cena. And I just want to play it for you because I want to play it for you, and then we'll discuss. Okay, is that fine with you?
Sure.
Can I play this for you, and then we'll discuss? I haven't shown you this yet, but to me, what Randy said, it means a lot. So just take a listen to this. This is Randy Orton talking about a conversation he had recently with John Cena.
He went and did his speech, his retirement speech there. And I hadn't seen him in a while, so it was kind of I didn't know he was going to be there. So, oh, hey, John, oh my God, hey, what's up? We caught up for like 10 minutes. And towards the end of the conversation, I was like, hey, what do you think? Yeah, and I had no idea that he was going to what do you say? Between 30 and 40 dates, this next Mania is his last Mania, all that stuff. And so I had no idea. For all I know, he's going to be around like me for as long as his body will permit him to. But of course, he's got other things going, and this is my life. So I hats off to him, doing the Hollywood thing. Like, if I could, I would, but I've got other priorities, that takes a lot, and I don't think I have it to give. But I said, what do you think? And he was like, Randy, I've never pitched anything. Like, I always do my best with whatever they give me. And I'm like, man, that's me. I've never had a pitch. I've never like set myself up to be let down. I never like, hey, writers, here's a 6-page, storyboard of everything I want to do for the next 6 months. Not once, not once. And I've always been very fortunate. And they give me what they give me, and I do the best I can with it. And that
Boom. So that's what I wanted to play for you. The reason I want to play it for you is because I've heard you echo a similar thing, that you never went to the writers and pitched anything. You say, whatever you give me, I'm going to go ahead and make the best out of it. Here's my question to you. Randy Orton and John Cena both share the same philosophy that you do. Do you feel like that is the way that every talent should approach this industry, is saying, look, it's not my show. Whatever role you see me in, put me in that role and I will facilitate, because that's my job? Or do you think it is okay to go to the office and say, here's my 6-page treatment, and it ends with, put the title on me?
There's always been a lot of politicking in wrestling. That's just part of the game. For certain guys, but there are certain guys like John Cena, like a Randy Orton. I remember the first time I worked with Randy Orton, and I didn't give him any information as far as what we were going to go out and do. He came and talked to me about 3:00 in the afternoon. He goes, "Hey, Booker, you got anything for me?" I was like, "Let me get a Red Bull in. We'll talk later." He came to me around 5:00, and I said, "Hey, man, let me get my jump rope in, and then we'll talk." Came to me about 6:00. I said, "Man, let me get me one more Red Bull in, and we'll talk in a bit." All right. Him and I, we find ourselves in Gorilla, and he can back me up on this. It's a true story. He say, "Book, come on, bro." I say, "We'll call it in the ring." And he goes, we go out and we do it. And he came back to the curtain. He goes, "Is it that easy?" I say, "It's going to be that easy for you every night. I could see that kid had so much talent. I could see he had such a bright future. All he needed was someone just to bring it out." John Cena, him and I, we greet each other with the words Shakespeare. Normally when we see each other, we greet each other with Shakespeare, just because every time I work with John Cena, house shows, we work many, many nights, it was always, "Hey, Book, what are we going to do?" Shakespeare. And we would just go out in the ring and perform, and then it would be so great. He was one of the guys that had such great timing. He did things so unorthodox. He did it the right way, not the way it was, taught to do sometimes. It was beautiful. It was beautiful to see John Cena grow. And for me to have a little bit of part in, working with John Cena, for me, it was always give me the script. I've never once in my career gone to the writers and said, "Hey, what do you guys think about this idea?" I just didn't have that kind of time, to be thinking about something like that. When I wasn't doing it, I wasn't thinking about it. Only time I thought about it was when I was doing it.
Yeah. Right. And to me, when you hear those stories you just shared, and then you think about, like, let's just think about the careers that John Cena and Randy have had. I mean, 2 first ballot Hall of Fame careers. One's a 16-time world champion. One's a 14-time, 30 world titles between them, right? And when you think about the crazy fact in yourself, 35-time wrestling champion, and to think about it that y'all have never pitched anything, what do you think that tells you about how the office, quote unquote, looks at Randy and John? That Randy or John have never had to pitch anything for him. Well, to me, it tells them, same way with you. Oh, well, if we put these guys in it, they're going to make it work.
No matter what it is.
Right. They'll make it work.
John Cena, you know, I always said John Cena wasn't the most talented guy in the ring wrestling, but he can go in the ring and wrestle with anybody.
Yeah.
And it was gonna be right. It was gonna be just because he wasn't jumping through the ropes or jumping over the top rope, or, you know, like you want, like a lot of people want to see it today, does not make it not right. John Cena did everything right from when he walked out of that curtain. How he knew how to connect with those fans, especially those kids. Man, he was a star, man, every time he walked out. So for me, when I hear guys, you know, say that, I try to teach my young guys that same thing. You know, the only thing you can rely on truly is your talent. That's the only thing that's going to keep you getting booked. That's the only thing that's going to keep you from not getting fired. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. It's your talent. And that's the one thing that I don't think John Cena, Randy Orton, or myself ever worried about when that time of the year came, just because we all knew we were talented. Bottom line.
And that's something that you instill also in the students at Row. I don't know if too many people have come with, and this is probably a good thing for the talent to hear. I don't know if too many people have come to the office and pitched an idea or threw a script out there that have really ever worked.
It's not a good idea.
It's not a good idea.
It's not a good idea to come pitch me a script. You might get fired, you know.
I won't say who, but one time somebody came in, they had this long pitch about how they essentially just beat everybody in the company. And literally, and this month I'll beat this guy, then I'll beat this guy, then I'll beat this guy, and I'll be the champ, you know? And I think your question was, well, who gets over in that? He was like, I do.
I think that's the last time we saw him.
I think it was. Oh man. But it's a lesson, right? But it's a lesson too. Like sometimes, like just for example, and I know we have to take a quick break, but even from just say my perspective, you know, like I was a ring announcer at first, and then one day you're like, hey, you're the commentator now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's go. Yeah. I didn't say, book, can I be the commentator? And I was like, this is what I need from you.
I like
go figure it out.
I like being the commentator. I mean, you know, we love
ring announcer.
Yeah, I like being the announcer. Now, I want you to be the commentator.
What I need from you.
All right, get up out of here, bro. That's the way it's going to be if that conversation goes too long. Seriously. Hey, guys, stick around. It's a lesson, man. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Can you dig it, sucker? All right, everyone, it's Booker T and Brad Gilmore here, and we've got something exciting for all you sports, comedy, music, and theater fans out there. We're talking about Game Time, the fastest, easiest way to get your hands on tickets to your favorite events.
That's right, Book. We love all those spontaneous, unforgettable moments, and Game Time is here to make them happen. Whether it's a last-minute decision to see a game or a sudden urge to catch a live show, Game Time has got you covered, giving fans access to tickets even at the last minute in over 60 cities across the United States and Canada.
Hey guys, this ain't about getting in. This is about getting the best seats in the house. With Game Time, you can see images of your seat before you buy it. So no surprises there, guys. You can score tickets swiftly. Skip the line, guys. Just dive straight into the moment.
Absolutely. And listen to this. Game Time guarantees the best prices. Find tickets in the same section in Row for less elsewhere. Game Time will give you a credit of 110% of the difference. So there's no reason to wait, bro.
So whether it's the thrill of the game, the laughter of the comedy, the rhythm of the music, or the drama of the theater, guys, don't let the opportunity skip by. Choose Game Time. Grab your tickets and just enjoy the moment.
Live should be spontaneous, Book. So guys, don't miss out. Check out Game Time now on their app or at gametime.co. That's gametime.co.
Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code BOOKER for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Lowest price. Guaranteed. Oh, yes. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, along with my man Brad Gilmore. We just chopping it up like we always do, man. We talk a little wrestling, we talk a little UFC, a little bit of everything. Reality Wrestling Breakout going down this Sunday, the 25th. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. Bell time, 5 p.m. at the Walker, Texas Lawyer Arena, 9300 Emmett F. Lowry Expressway. Be looking for the beacon in the sky, guys. Be looking for the beacon in the sky that says Walker, Texas Lawyer, all lit up like the Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah. Where we at, man? Where we at?
We're gonna get to some super chats here in a minute, but there was conversation going on earlier this week. I guess Becky Lynch did an interview, and she was talking about some of her favorite towns to wrestle in. The town she said was surprising to me. Yeah. Becky Lynch said that one of the best towns that she liked to wrestle in. I'm telling you, you could have asked me 1,000 times, right? What's Becky Lynch's favorite, or what is she going to say? What's the town going to be? And I would have never come to this one. But Becky Lynch said this in an interview, as far as her number one place in America that she likes to wrestle. And this was to Julian Edelman on his podcast, Games with Names. She said, in America, number one, that would be kind of more like house shows, because we don't do a lot of TVs there. She said the best crowd is Hidalgo, Texas. Have you ever worked Hidalgo, Texas?
That's near the border, right?
I believe so. One of the border cities.
Yeah.
Have you worked Hidalgo, and are you surprised that was her answer?
Not really. Not really.
No.
Different strokes for different folks. It might have been one of those nights. Might have been one of those nights where, the town was just rocking and she got something out of it that she had never gotten before. I've seen that. Yeah.
It's just surprising. There's not a name I thought would have come out. So I ask you, what were your favorite towns, whether it be in the States or abroad, to wrestle in?
I never really, you know what, man? I wasn't.
You didn't think about that?
Oh, man.
You didn't think like, oh man, we're in Chicago tonight. This is gonna be awesome.
No.
Or hey, we're doing San Diego.
San Diego was just like Chicago.
What about Boston?
Just like San Diego.
What about Des Moines?
Just like I'm serious, man. It was like Fargo. It's like Fargo.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I've worked in so many different places, man. They all became a blur. They all look the same. And I wasn't out there like a lot of guys looking to go on a city tour and see what the monuments, the landmarks, in the city. I mean, I did not care about that kind of stuff. The only thing I cared about was making it through that tour, getting home. That was it.
Right.
Making it through that. When I say tour, I really mean that. And it's a lot of guys out there that didn't look at it like it was a tour, and they went out there and they partied and they whatnot. And they're not around anymore. They're not, living in a great space. It was like a war, man. It was really like a war. And if you didn't treat it like that, you could become a casualty of it. So I was thinking about getting through it, getting home, and resting up to get ready to go out there and do it again. Because it was just like in combat, you rest up, eat you some chow, boom, and they send you right back out in the zone.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I can feel that. Well, I was just curious. I was curious because, you do hear, as a wrestling fan, you hear, oh, man, the crowds at the Rosemont Horizon, which was crazy back in the day, or whatever,
Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden, right.
Great, man. I mean, no, that kind of stuff was great. Yeah, I love that. You know what I mean? Working in Toronto, to Air Canada, man, it was always great, man. It was beautiful. Right. But that's just not what my head space was. My head space was getting through that tour, trying not to get hurt, getting back home, continuing it, man. And because there's a lot of guys who have, fallen, through those cracks along the way due to injury, drugs, women, whatever, certain vices. And for me, I was trying to figure out how to not fall into, one of those traps, end up being one of those guys. I wanted to get through this thing. And a lot of guys, I don't know, may not have thought the way I did. I remember I was listening to Tuco Scorpio do an interview one time, about a month ago, and a month or so ago, and the guy asked Tuco, "Hey, what was Booker T like? You know what I mean, out in the party scene?" And and Tuco told him Booker T was about his paper, man. He didn't do none of that. I'm serious, man. I just didn't have that type of energy. My energy being the best in the ring. My energy was being, at the end of my career, with my name ringing with some of the great legends like, Flair and Harley Race and, guys like that. I say that's what my motivation was.
Yeah, and I understand that too. Well, I'm glad that you weren't on the party scene, and it's obviously proven true. If you got people to justify, or what is it? Not justify. If you got people to say the same thing that you say, what is that called? What am I saying? I can't think of the word. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah. I got you.
Stand by your story.
It'll come to me. Yeah,
it'll come to me too. But that's always good. I was just curious though if you ever had a town that was particularly a favorite of yours. But Book, we do have a lot of super chats.
All right.
Substantiate. That was the word I was looking for.
Substantiate. Okay, substantiate. That's a good word. I mean, that's one word you can use for it.
That's one word. That's the word I was looking for. Well, we got a lot of super chats to get to. So you ready to get to them?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're going to start off now with our first super chat of the day.
Yeah.
From Virgil Dawkins, who said, "Can you talk about the greatest fatal four-way of all time, Booker T versus The Undertaker versus Eddie Guerrero versus JBL, and how difficult it was to produce such a masterpiece?"
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I probably went to Eddie and asked Eddie, what was I doing that night? I'm dead serious, man. You go with the smart guys when you're in a match like this. Eddie would have been the guy to go to for me. Eddie, what do you need me? So that's the way you have a great fatal four-way match. And I say that because one person that can contest to what I'm saying, I think that's the word she was looking for also. Is Christian. Every time I was in a fatal four-way with Christian, I would always go to Christian and ask Christian, what am I doing in this match tonight? And we go, all right, Book, you're going to do the spin-a-rooney right here. You're going to do the drop kick right here. And you're going to go do, I swear to God, he would tell me everything that I was going to do. So you got to be smart and know who the smartest guys are in those situations. That's how you create a great matchup like that. Don't think you're the smartest guy in the room. Sometimes if you just listen, you might have one of the greatest matches of your life. I remember this producer was talking to me one time, and he was producing my match, and he wanted me to do this and do this and do this. And I say, look, man, if I do that, you're going to get fired. I say, but I tell you what, I'm going to go out and do my stuff, and you can take the credit. He said, okay. Still down
Works
today.
for me. I'm looking up this card, by the way. This is Armageddon 2004 was the pay-per-view that he's referring to. Mm-hmm. And you, Eddie, JBL, and Undertaker had a fatal four-way match. Went 25 minutes and 37 seconds. In the main event, by the way, they were hanging for the rafters. And that was the highlight on what, honestly, when you look at the card, was a crazy show. Can I just read? Let me read some of these to you. The match right before you was Funaki and defeated Spike Dudley for the Cruiserweight title. I can go with that. Big Show defeated Kurt Angle, Mark Jindrak, and Luther Reigns in a handicap match in under 10 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
That's fine. Dawn Marie beat Miss Jackie with Charlie Haas as the referee in 1 minute and 4 seconds. I'm sure that was a 5-star classic from the Meltzer camp. John Cena wrestled Jesus in a street fight for the U.S. title. I'm not done yet.
Wow.
Doug and Danny Basham defeated Hardcore Holly and Charlie Haas in 6 minutes. Daniel Puder beat a guy named Mike Mizanin in a Dixie Dog street fight in 3 minutes.
Wow.
And, of course, who could forget the classic?
Mike Mizanin is, right?
Is, of course, the Miz.
Okay, I was just making sure.
And Kurt Angle defeated Santa Claus by submission in 25 seconds. Wow. What a great card.
What a card, man. Hanging from the rafters.
Hanging from the rafters, brother.
Had a hell of a main event, though.
But the main event is what brought it home, man.
That's what the money is, bro. You always bet on the main,
Let's go to our next super chat here. This comes from Mel Manchild Jones. Row replica belts, release date and price info, please.
All right. Send We'll have that on Reality of Wrestling here in the next week.
In the next week.
Within the next week, because we got guys, so many people right now want to order one, and we got to make it happen for you guys. How about that?
Give us a week, and we'll get back to you. Well, we actually got to go to break, and we can do the rest of it.
Yeah, my bad. Stick around, man. You're inside the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey there, beach babes and beach bros. Are you ready to soak up the summer vibes and strut out with your ultimate beach bod? Well, good news, because our friends over at Manscaped have got you covered from head to toe.
Oh, yeah, Brad. We're talking about the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, the all-in-one grooming kit that's a total game changer for your summer look, man. With Manscaped, you're not just grooming, you're unlocking confidence you need to turn heads this beach season. Oh, yes.
That's right, Booker. And we're talking 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. And because you're listening to us, you get a special deal. 20% off plus free shipping with the code BOOKER at manscaped.com. Let's make this summer your smoothest one yet.
Man, let me tell you about the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. This bad boy got a summer makeover. It's waterproof, perfect for those splashy pool parties and beach hangouts. And don't get me started with the Weed Whacker 2.0 for those pesky nose and ear hairs.
Oh, and after you trim, you've got to try the Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion. Say goodbye to chafing and hello to comfort all day long. Plus, the Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, absolute must-have for those hot, sunny days.
Hey, and don't forget, every purchase comes with a little extra free Boxers 2.0 Midnight Bravo. Talk about comfort and style that fits like a dream. You're gonna love it, I guarantee.
So what are you waiting for? Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code BOOKER at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code BOOKER.
Yeah, the summer sun is here to stay, so trust Manscaped and keep you looking and feeling cool.
Jump on this deal, y'all, and stay groomed this summer with Manscaped. Your beach bod deserves the best.
Boom, welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. I know we got super chatters. Might as well keep it rolling, man. Super chat.
Let's get to our next one. This one comes from LMCT, who says WWE needs to pay for the Hustle and Flow Whoop That Trick song to be Trick Williams' entrance song when he regains the NXT championship.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I think they can purchase it. I don't think that's out the realm. I had to add libs to it. We'll see. We'll make it work, baby. Now I'm looking forward to Trick getting the championship back, but it's gonna be an uphill climb. Right now, we got so many people in line, man. Everybody chomping at the bit, wanting a shot at that championship. So, man, Trick gonna have to put in some work. He's gonna have to put in some work.
Well, first of all, I mean, Whoop That Trick. That was the first time I'd ever heard that was in that movie. I'd never heard Whoop That Trick ever, so I don't know if that's where it comes from, but that was the first time I heard it. But speaking of the NXT championship, I did have a question for you about something that was going on online over the weekend. And I don't know if you know what I'm about to bring up.
But I'm sleep this week.
Oh, well, you're sleeping. But let me tell you. So this tweet came out Friday night, 8:05 p.m. Right? It was from @Vic Joseph WWE. Vic Joseph said this. He said, "This is not a joke. @Booker T 5X just called me to yell, 'Kill him with a smile,' laughed, and then hung up after seeing WWE NXT champion Ethan Page on SmackDown." Is this a true story?
I just like Ethan Page, man. Let's just say that. I don't know if that I might have been in the days. I might have been sleep talking. Ain't no telling.
No confirming or denying that happened.
But you gotta admit, Ethan Page, his music go hard, man. Yeah. I don't know who put that together for him in WWE, but man, we got to start doing that, man. What our talent, we got to start figuring out how to put a little bit more light on them, a little bit more flash. You know, and so when you kill him with a smile, yeah, I like it. Wait a minute, Brad's breaking up on me. I don't know if that's on his end or my end.
It's on my end. Can you hear me?
Clean it up. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, it's on my end. Something's going on my internet.
Kill him with a smile, ego. Yeah, it's a good song, man. I don't know who sang it also, man. They definitely did a hell of a good job.
They did a great job. Let's go to our next one here.
Well, you got the lyrics real quick if you want, because I wouldn't mind hearing it real quick. You know, y'all ego song. Yeah,
you want me to play the ego
song?
Yeah,
I mean, if I could just hear it, I think the people agree with me. You know, All Ego might have one of the best songs on the roster.
Okay, give me a second and I'll pull it up here. Let's see. Oh, no, that's his AEW theme. We don't want that.
You know what? I got to give Ego some props, man, because he stepped into NXT and he's done a hell of a job. He's done a hell of a job. He's filled a lot of those holes, I think, you know, a place like NXT needed. Just because the NXT roster had got depleted. A lot of guys left. And we was wondering who's going to come in and make an impact, you know, and really, you know, stir the pot up just a little bit. And Ego's been one of those guys. And I'm back in Ego. Yeah.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Yeah, I like the riff. There we go. About to really hit here.
I'm gonna get him with a smile. Hey man, you can't tell me that is some dope music.
It's good. It's good. I like it.
And the thing is, it's just an intro. That's all it is. It's an intro. Just get you in the mood, man. Make you start feeling what's going down. Ego come out and give you one of them, and boom, we off to the races. But no, man, I think Ego's done a hell of a job.
Yeah, shout out to Ethan Page. Yeah. This one comes from Mike Woodson. Mike Woodson says, Money Floyd Mayweather fight Gotti in a 6-round bout this Saturday. Do you think Floyd is diminishing his boxing legacy with these exhibition fights? I don't think so.
You know, it's not, I wouldn't say diminishing his career or anything like that, but this one, you saw what happened the last time, right?
Mm-hmm. With which guy?
With Gotti.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Fight too. I mean, there was a big brawl out. You know, everybody's fighting at the end. It was all ghetto.
Yeah, it was an embarrassment.
It didn't make no sense. Well, why you go back and fight a guy like that? Well, you know what's going to happen. He started cheating, and then after they stopped the fight, Gotti wanted to fight. It was the dumbest thing I ever seen in my life. You know, so Floyd doing stuff like this, it's not that I agree with it or disagree with it. It's not my place, really. But people are saying Floyd, you know, has been slipping lately. You know, Floyd has been, you know, doing some erratic things. You know, I would not think Floyd Mayweather have money problems or anything like that. I just wouldn't. But, you know, I don't care how much money you got when you still go and look for it like this. It says a little bit of something. Says something. I know one thing, man. I do know this. I know Floyd got places, houses, mansions, a boatload of cars. That stuff, man, it continuously costs money. You know, it's just like Evander Holyfield had a, you know, $100 million house. And it took $500,000 a year just to cut the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, excuse me?
I mean, he was getting worked on that one.
Yeah, but still, you know what I'm saying? I could have sold him a John Deere.
Yo, I would have cut it for $500,000 too.
You know what I mean? But no, man, when you see stuff like that, I wouldn't think Floyd have to go out there and do that kind of stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, it's on him.
Well, you know, who knows? Lil Wayne once said, too much money ain't enough money. I know the Fed's listening. What money? was what he said. But he did say too much money ain't enough money. So, you know,
I feel that way too, man. I feel that way too, especially when you used to live in that lifestyle. You used to being that guy that could roll up and pull out $100,000 just to show it to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, but it's got to be lonely being at the top like that. I was looking at a photo. I think Floyd was at a game and he had none of his buddies with him or anything like that. And he was talking about how lonely it was, you know, when ain't nobody else around. So somebody like that got to have people around them. They got to spend that kind of money. They got to floss like that just to feel like they're that guy. I don't know, man. I don't think I would want to ever feel like that in my life. I really don't.
No, I wouldn't want to feel that way either. But I know he can't be too lonely. Have you seen his woman? Have you seen Floyd's woman?
I think I've seen a couple of different women.
Well, I mean, this is the one he's had for a minute.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it.
You know what I mean? He's doing okay.
You know what? Okay. You know what? You think that's going to make a man like that happy after, when he can have any woman like that he wants in the world?
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. But she's special. She's good.
Yeah. No.
Let's go to the next super chat.
Tell that to Deontay Wilder. Yeah, exactly my point.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Brandon says Floyd or Bud Crawford, who you got in their prime against each other?
Are we talking about right now?
Right now, it's not a question, but in their prime against each other, it's hard not to go with Floyd, as great as Terrence is. I mean, now, obviously the weight class is what it'd be, but still.
Yeah, it would be hard to bet against Floyd just because how great he has been throughout his career. I mean, you would think he would be able to figure anybody out just like he did for that 50. Okay, so no matter who it was, yeah. I guess I go back to the first one with Gennaro Hernandez. What a fight. I go back to Diego Corrales, and Floyd Mayweather making a guy like Diego Corrales look like a little bitty baby in the ring. And the great Diego Corrales, bad, man, bad. So no, this dude has been bona fide the best in the business. Until somebody would have beat him like a Bud Crawford, it's hard to say.
Let's get to another one before we have to go to a break. This comes from Virgil Dawkins, who says, is it wrong for wrestlers to sometimes selfishly hide their injuries from management because they don't want to be taken off TV or lose their spot? Or is that just part of the business?
Well, I never hid any injuries. That's the guys that think their spot's going to get taken. Those are the guys that, know if they take 2 weeks off, their ass is going to be replaced. So for me, every time I was injured, I took myself out of the game. Let me run to the sideline. You know what I mean? Send me home. I got to go. So I don't know. It's been a lot of guys like that throughout the business, but I've never been a guy that have ever had one injury and said I'm gonna just stick around because I don't want to, I want to be selfish or I don't want to lose my spot. No, I didn't do that.
But you will say this, and I know we have about 10 seconds. There's a difference between working hurt and working injured, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wrestlers work hurt.
It's a big difference. I've worked hurt many a times, but I've never worked injured. Injury means no, I can't go tonight. Like the bad growing injury I had, the back injury that I had, the neck injury that I've had. Those injuries send me home. I will talk to you later. Stick around, you're in the Hall of Fame. Back in a minute.
Every time I come here, I just have so much fun. I go home and we just can't stop talking about it till we come back.
The whole roster, top to bottom, star-studded guys.
We drove 12 hours from Atlanta. This comes to one Mr. for the World. It's one of the premier independent wrestling promotions across America. It's a well-oiled machine, and there's a lot of good talent, which is very rare on in these shows to see so much talent on one show.
The organization that he has right now, I think and truly believe that it's one of the best organizations out there.
Brian Keith is 15 feet in the air! Brian Keith from up top!
A lot of fun, a lot of good athletes, good wrestlers, good family fun.
I've been around with a lot of the other independent groups, but this to me is a very, very top and first-class operation.
Reality of wrestling, one word, heart. And that's what Booker T is bringing to Houston. It's already special.
He's created opportunity, and he's creating great talent, as you guys well know.
Can't make it happen without these young people, without the fans coming out supporting this thing. This is the flagship of Texas wrestling. This is the beginning of something big. It ain't gonna stop.
It's the best damn promotion in the country right now. The best independent promotion in the country. The best talent, the best coach and teacher that there ever was. And this is where it's at right here in the reality of wrestling. Believe that.
Oh my goodness! A Davidson driver!
It's very
very professional. It's a very good production. Booker's doing it right. I really enjoyed being a part of it.
Oh, what a rush.
The future of wrestling is reality of wrestling. That's the reality of the situation.
I'm Roddy Piper, and you're watching Reality of Wrestling. Be there, be square, babe.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. I want to thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame, getting your champagne wishes, all the super chatters, man. We appreciate you guys. We're just going to keep the ball rolling. We're just going to keep it rolling. What we got?
Hey, well, before we get to the next super chat, can I just say, for people watching us on YouTube, you saw a little Reality of Wrestling promo that just played there. You know, if you're watching on, or if you're listening to us on ESPN 975 or 102.5 The Game, you didn't see that. But can we have some merch that says has the Reality Wrestling logo on the front, and on the back it says "Be there, be square, babe"?
Yeah, we got to do something like that.
Because that's what Roddy Piper says. He has a promo for us where he goes, "It's the Reality of Wrestling. Be there, be square, babe."
Let's do
and
it.
We got to have that.
Yeah.
We got to have it, man. Okay, cool. I'm glad.
Every time I see that commercial, man, it, good memories, man. I remember Roddy actually doing that clip for us at the Georgia Brown, and it was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome to see Roddy that day. Every time I saw Roddy, he was always smiling. Always. He was always that dude. So we appreciate him.
Yeah, I actually remember he took a few takes too, because he wanted to get it right.
Yeah,
he didn't want to mess it up. He wanted to be perfect, and he took a couple takes. And shout out to the Hot Rod. My only time I got to meet him, but it was awesome to see Roddy Piper there. Be there, be square, babe. Our next one comes from Cali Toenail, who said, "Props to Jacob Fatu for going out there with his foot in a brace, breaking Roman off. I know people with the same brace on their foot, and they want light duty." Said, "Look, I got injured at work. They put me on light duty."
Nah, man, that man, Jacob Fatu, he's definitely on the rise, bro.
He's the real deal.
He's the real deal. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna, leave everything. When I say everything, he's gonna leave everything in the middle of that ring, as far as performance goes, and he's willing to work for it. That's what I appreciate about this kid, man. He's worked so freaking hard to get to this position. A position that, rightfully, as far as a worker go, should have been there a long time ago. Mm-hmm. So much better than so many guys out there on that scene. It took going through those trials and tribulations to make it. But I think if not going through those trials and tribulations, he would not understand what this truly means today. So my thing is with Jacob, I say, man, even when God's late, he's always on time.
Facts. Yeah, I mean, I saw somebody, I don't know if it was Heyman, somebody said over the weekend, they gave props to Jacob Fatu because he's made everybody elevate their game in the bloodline. And that's how I think it's coming from Paul Heyman. I don't want to misquote him and say that it was, but I'm pretty sure that's who it came from. And that's high praise. First time I saw Jacob Fatu at the World Gym Arena, the old Reality Wrestling headquarters, I was like, man, this dude is awesome. And, you always hear about Samoans, and I'm not trying to stereotype them, but you always hear that they're just incredible at pro wrestling every time you see them.
Yeah.
And Jacob lived up to that, positive stereotype. But he even went above and beyond what I've seen most guys be able to do. And I still will always remember, Jacob and Ryan Davidson at Summer Champions 9, 1,100 people strong, stealing the show in the middle of the show and proving to the world how great both those guys are. And I remember seeing Jacob a few months later. He's like, "Oh, man, Oos, your commentary, you just made it that much better." And I'm like, "No, bro, I was just saying what I was feeling in the moment."
Yeah.
I mean, it was because y'all were so great. It brought the game out of me. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
And he's that also shows you how humble of a guy he is. And I couldn't be happier that Jacob Fatu is where he's at right now. It puts a smile on my face because he's a good guy.
Good dude. Yeah.
Good dude. This one comes Mike Woodson. Says Bronson Reed just destroying the guys these last 2 weeks with these tsunamis. Book, did you ever have a favorite big guy you love to wrestle with?
No.
Nobody? You didn't like the
let me
Giant back in the day, Mark Henry, Undertaker, Kane?
Not really, man.
You didn't like working the Undertaker?
Well, thing is, I had
That
a
could be the headline. You know that, right?
what?
Booker T doesn't like working the Undertaker.
No, I love working certain guys, but I'm not going to say big guys just because I didn't like. I would have to do everything from a jumping perspective or doing something to try to figure out how to get the guy off of his feet or something like that because I wasn't going to pick him up. I don't care how big I looked or how strong I looked. If a guy was over 200 pounds, I would not pick them up. That was just one of my rules. Just because I didn't want to hurt my back. I didn't want to, be in the middle of something. I mean, that kind of stuff, it takes its toll when you see these big guys doing that. It takes its toll over a period of time. So for me, I always work certain strategies. Working big guys when I had to, that's the only time I felt like I needed to. Working a big show is so hard to move a guy around like that. I remember one time I was working Scott Norton, and it was a house show. And I was like, Scott Norton, I'm gonna blow you up tonight, bro. I'm gonna blow you up so bad. You're not gonna be able to breathe within the first, 10 seconds or whatever. I drank 3 Red Bulls. I was so, like ready. I was charged up. And I went in the ring, man. Within the first 5 minutes, he just blew me up, and I was no good. And I remember coming back, throwing up, the Red Bull. It didn't help me. You know what I mean? So, no, man, working big guys is a chore. It really is. It might look good on television. I remember having to do the leg drop or the Harlem hangover to the table or something on Big Show to beat him. I'm like, I don't want to have to win this way. Okay, let's throw this out. You know what I mean? So nah, man, it was always a chore.
Always a chore. Well, I feel that because I'm just saying from, when you think about it from a fan's perspective, oh man, Booker T, when he worked Undertaker was a great night. But then when you think Undertaker 6'10", I think legit, right? He's a tall guy.
I never slammed the Undertaker once.
Right.
I think I may have given him a side slam, but a regular body slam, no way.
You did one time a axe kick or a scissor kick through a table on Big Show.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what it was. Which for me, there again, that's not my forte.
I know, and knowing you and now thinking about your answer, it makes so much sense because it's like, not that you were opposed to going out there and work and putting in your work or anything like that, but like if you had your option to work, let's say, just for example, Eddie or Christian versus working Big Show or Kane, it's like, give me Eddie and Christian. They're going to be flying around the whole night.
Exactly. I'm not going to have to do a scissor kick through the table to beat them. You know what I mean? So come on. Anybody that
I get it.
No, I trust me. That night I worried about that spot, until it happened. Yeah, I didn't practice it. We didn't rehearse it. It had to be done live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and trust me, it was not something I would want to be trying to repeat in my career.
To real quick sidebar, a guy who, you hear everybody pretty much say they enjoyed their time in the ring with because he was solid for a big guy is what you always hear. Oh, for a big guy, this guy was solid. Is Kane. I always heard Kane was just really great inside the ring.
Yeah.
And knew how to position himself as a bigger individual to help emphasize everybody else. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I mean, I had a lot of good matches with Kane. We didn't do anything out of the ordinary or anything like that. But I do remember having some good matches with him. Nothing sticks out in my head right now, like
right,
such and such. Well, not like that or anything like that. But I do remember working with Kane from a perspective to where I could kind of equate it to back in WCW when my brother and I used to have to work Ming and Barbarian. I would always make sure I was in the ring with Ming.
You're like, I ain't getting none of that Barbarians.
I think that, I mean, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Oh, the other way around. You don't want to have Ming chop you.
Exactly. I would be in the ring with Barbarian
Gotcha.
because every time Ming, I remember him chopping me one time. It was like somebody hit me with a brick. And I was like, what what is he thinking? So I mean, it was like left a handprint on my back. That's how hard it was. He chopped me in the chest. So I'm like, man, I don't want none of this smoke. So from that point on, every tag team match, I was in the ring with Barbarian.
Let me ask you, did it go like this? Because I could see you doing this, and maybe it didn't happen. You see Barbarian tag Ming in, and it might not even be the next spot, but all of a sudden Stevie's getting a tag.
I'm tagging out. Y'all can do y'all spot now.
I'm sure you had.
We did our spot. Now y'all can do y'all spot.
Stevie had to be hot about that.
I don't know if hot. Thing is, I don't know if he picked up on it.
Well, when he sees this, he's gonna be like, that little no good dirty rat.
No, man, being handsome, like I say, man, it was so freaking hard, man. He had a chop that it was just like a brick, man. It would hurt so much. And I was like, God, man, I'm not taking that ever. Took one from him my whole career, never again. Stick around, guys.
Shout out to Stevie.
We'll be back in a minute.
Can you dig it, sucker?
And this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about sex. Hey, you remember when you was always ready to go? I'm talking about strapping the rocket on it, man. Going straight to the moon. I'm talking about getting it done. If you want that extra confidence, I got something for you. Listen up. Blue Chew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, but in a chewable tablet at the fraction of the cost.
But the great thing, Book, is you can take it any time, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days.
The best part, guys, it's all done online on the internet. So there's no doctor's visit, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at a pharmacy or any of that.
And the thing is, Book, Blue Chew's tablets, they're made right here in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package, so no one is the wiser.
Let's just get it out there, guys. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. It's like this. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew absolutely free when you use promo code Booker at your checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping, man. That's BlueChew.com. Use promo code Booker to receive your first month absolutely free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And, we want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Hall of Fame podcast. Chew it and do it. Boom. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I know this is our last seg. Got any more super chats?
We do.
All right, let's get rolling.
This one comes from Kai Toenail. The Queen champ Nia Jax needs more respect. Love the way she came out, and that's it. Her seg was goofy and terrible. I've never seen Charlotte treated that way.
I missed that one. You got to tell me, fill me in.
I mean,
this was on SmackDown?
This was on SmackDown. It was a segment. She was in there with Tiffany, and she had the crown on. It was really playing the Queen thing up. I mean, I wouldn't say it was terrible. I wouldn't use that word. Goofy, sure. Silly, a little over the top. Do you feel like, and to me, though, here's where I disagree with Callie, is that, yes, we know Nia is a monster. This is how she's always been booked. She's always been booked as a monster. To me, it's not the worst idea, especially for the longevity of Nia Jax and the Nia Jax character, to be able to have a little bit of a different personality at times, and show a little bit more of a character or like I said, personality. So we know more than just here she comes, the irresistible force and boom, boom, bang. I feel like showing personality isn't necessarily a bad thing. Now, yes, things in wrestling all the times can be silly and over the top. It's kind of sometimes what happens. Not everything's a home run either. But I don't think it's bad to show a little personality.
Can I look at it this way?
Go for it.
Something I've said for quite some time. The King of the Ring the Queen of the Ring tournament, it's not the easiest act in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that you could pick up and actually just take off and run with it because you don't even know what it means. No one does. I didn't know what it meant. I just took it and I just ran with it. I'm sure we look at Gunther on the other side. He's just not even playing into it. Right?
Right.
He's just coming out and still being himself. He won the tournament because I really feel like it would put Gunther in a certain place to where he would have to change the way he is. And I don't think you want to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's really hard. It's easy to say, man, you want to win the King of the Ring tournament, but or the Queen of the Ring tournament. But it's so hard to take that mantle and make it into something without, having some comedic value to it. And I say that about myself. My King character, I had a lot of comedy in that character. But I had a lot of seriousness in it at the same time. Sometimes I merged the two together, but it was something that I had to figure out along the way. Otherwise, that could have been an asterisk on my career.
You know what? That's so beautifully said, because it could have been like, wow, do you remember when Booker T was just a fool? It was just a ridiculous king, British. But you figured out how to make it, especially when the bell rang, work for you. And I actually remember this criticism, and I remember the show got a lot of flack for it at the time. Remember when Big E won the WWE title, and he was still doing a lot of the over-the-top Big E-isms, which you said, hey, it's fine to have your comedy, but be able to balance it whenever the bell rings to be serious.
I said, you can't roll down the ramp. You remember that? He rolled
down the ramp.
Down the ramp, and I go, come on now. We can't do this anymore. He's going to have to change that up if you want to be looked at as the world champion. That's not going to work unless you want to have that, perhaps have that asterisk by your career. And for me, I know 100%. If I didn't flip the script on King Booker, that could have been an asterisk on my career where people said, man, that was the stupidest thing he did. It made him look like a fool when he came out. He was acting stupid and dancing. And, I could have cocked the crown to it. And I remember that too. I remember the first time when I first won the King of the Ring, the tournament, and I had the crown on and I kicked it to the side. And then I go, no, I can't do that. I said, I can't do that. I said, I got to be my king. My run has to be different. So I put the hair through the crown. Made it come out the back. I made myself look like, somebody from, one of these movies, from 300 or something. I say, I got to look more royal. I got to have the scepter and really everything played a role as far as my kingly run working. And I tell you, it's not the easiest thing in the world. That's why I only did it a year.
Two things on that I want to say. Follow-ups. One follow-up is this about Big E. To shoot him a little bit of bail on his run, it was during COVID. Right? Where you didn't have that instant audience feedback. Perhaps if you had the feedback, you may have not rolled down the hill. Maybe. I don't know.
No, but the thing is, I said this when he did it. I think we was talking about this on the radio when he did it. And I was like, come on, that's not going to work. Just because I don't care if it's COVID. I don't care if it's a monsoon, a blizzard going on. It doesn't matter. What I'm talking about is I needed to make the fans look at me a certain way as king. Just think about it. I would have never won the world title as king if the people didn't believe in it.
Oh, of course.
The people hadn't bought into it. And for me, that was a thought process on how to make this happen. I think, from my background, I had great experiences, to put me in position to succeed in that role. From all the movies, all the karate movies I watched from back in the day, it was a perfect role for me, ruling the SmackDown Kingdom with an iron fist. That meant going out and performing at the highest level. Right. Take the robe off, pass off the scepter, give my wife the ring. I kiss it one time before I pass it off, and now it's time to do business and humble this peasant. That part was real, and for me, it was easy to go there. If you haven't been to that point, I think it would be quite difficult, and I think that's what we're looking at perhaps with Nia Jax. She's just trying to find her character.
Yeah.
What is that character when you become king or queen? You got to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I like the pairing of her and Tiffany.
As well as let's say, and when we just go back to caveat what we was talking about earlier, as far as pitching something. As King Booker, I've never pitched one idea.
This is what we want from you this week, Book. All right, cool. I'll make
Gave
it
me
work.
the script, and that's exactly what it was. If it meant I go out and Rey Mysterio, drop kick me into my huge king chair, and I flip back over, and you can see my socks. It's time for me to entertain you. Okay, I'm going to entertain you. I'm going to make Rey Mysterio look damn good in this segment. But next week, when I come out and get him in the ring, he's going to pay. He's going to pay dearly. So that's what made it work for me.
Before we move on to the last few super chats, I know we have a couple minutes left. I do want to say, do you remember the movie with Martin Lawrence, Black Knight? Did you ever see that one?
I remember that one. I don't think I really watched it, but I do.
So he works at a theme park. It's like a castle theme park. And then he ends up falling. He hits his head and he wakes up and he's back in like the medieval times.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he's okay. The fact that WWE Studios never pitched an idea of Booker T's wrestling a match, he hits his head, or gets hit with a chair, and then wakes up and he's actually the king in Camelot. Like the fact that they never thought of that, shame on them. Shame on them. No, we needed to see the Marine 7. I wanted to see the King Booker movie. Damn it. That would have been so great.
It would have been a damn good movie.
Let's get to our last few super chats. Instagram account, A Wrestling Historian. Do you have a favorite Kevin Sullivan story?
Oh, man, I wouldn't necessarily say any great Kevin Sullivan stories, man. He just was a guy who was always, on top of his game. He was a guy that was, watching my back when I was in WCW when he was the booker. I always had nothing but good times around Kevin Sullivan. But there again, I wasn't a guy that ran in Kevin Sullivan's circle. So I wouldn't have any stories about Kevin Sullivan.
Okay, there you go. Rest in peace to the Taskmaster. BJ6 says, what is the name of the instrumental in the Manscaped commercial? I'm feeling it. That's actually called Dreams I Never Had on the 2011 album. That Booker T is actually on that record. So you can go stream that right now. Dreams I Never Had off Happiness, Sadness, etc. Our next one, Brandon says, I think Bud knocks Floyd out cold in 8. Well, I think you're tripping.
What, today? Today, yes.
Today, yes. Today, yes.
Back then,
in their prime?
No, man. Floyd was just that good. He really was that good. And when you're young and as good as Floyd was back then, his IQ was so high at such a young age. That's what propelled him to get through his career without one blemish. I remember Canelo Alvarez and Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I tell you, man, that fight that night was like, Floyd was like the Matrix. Canelo left that fight wondering, what was that? I couldn't see him. I couldn't touch him. It was I was like, wow, that's how good that kid. I mean, it's been about 3 guys that has actually touched Floyd Mayweather throughout his whole career. Maybe 4.
You wouldn't name them or no? Are you about to
No,
name them? I was about to say because we only have a few seconds. So let's go to our last super chat here. This comes from John, who says, Turkey Club with fries or cheesy bread?
Oh, man, Turkey Club, fries, man. And the thing is, I'm trying to stop eating like that. I'm getting older. I can't just be eating, Whataburger at 12 o'clock at night. I went to Whataburger last week, and actually when I was leaving the studio. And I stopped. I said, I'm going to get the Whataburger on the way in. And I turned in, and I said, no, don't do it. Don't do yourself like that, man. Go home. Go home and get you some fruit. Damn it. Oh, man, it was a rough night. But
get some fruit.
You see what I'm saying? I'm getting older, bro. But no, man, I want to thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame.
It's just a fruit.
It's champagne wishes, caviar dreams. We love you. Pray for heavy lifting. Peace. We out.